Good morning. I hope you are doing well. We've spent tons of time in Christology, and I hope on these daily thoughts that the time we spent on Christology was helpful to you. What I would like to do is spend a little time on a series of verses that deal with a subject that I'm concerned about when I look at our culture. And I am concerned about it when I look at it both within the church and outside of the church. And that is the subject of anger. It seems like we're a really angry people. It seems like it doesn't take a lot for us to get triggered. It seems like we're locked and loaded and ready to go at any moment. And we're seeing that in horrific things like what took place in Buffalo and what took place in Milwaukee. We're seeing that in the way that people talk to one another on social media. We're seeing that sometimes in the way that people speak to one another about politics of any kind, it feels like. It's just hard for people these days to be very equitable. And I think it is saying something to us about what's going on inside. I also think that often anger sometimes sits underneath the surface and it comes up and finds its way out in some pretty dangerous ways. And so I just would like us to think about it over the series of a number of days. And so I'd like to start us in Proverbs 14, verse 29. And it reads this way: "Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly." Now you learn something from this. Proverbs are often set up in parallelisms, whether they're synonymous parallelisms or in this case what's called an antithetical parallelism. You have a statement and then the exact opposite given below it. Slow to anger is great understanding, but the flip side of that is when you are hasty with your temper, you exalt folly. Understanding and folly are juxtaposed here. That tells us something. It tells us that if you react and you respond impulsively to someone without understanding where they're coming from, even though you still may disagree, that you're really being a fool. And you're a fool in the very proverbial sense, meaning you lack wisdom and you're being reckless. A fool in the sense of Proverbs is one who acts reckless without wisdom. And people get hurt that way. So one of the things we want to do is recognize, not that there's never a time to be angry. The Bible tells us in our anger, don't sin. So there's a time for that. But we often talk about anger as though a lot of times it's righteous. It's rarely righteous, because it's rarely that we're angry with understanding. We usually are angry at straw men. We're angry at things we don't fully grasp. Even though we disagree, we haven't thought out and played the tape out on all of the implications of that which we're disagreeing with. It doesn't mean we won't still disagree with it, but it does mean that we might be able to disagree without being angry. So my encouragement to you is this: when you come upon something that's stirring anger in you, stop and seek to understand before you respond. May the Lord bless you today.